Greetings, everyone. Michael Raso, Film Photography Podcast, here with our 15th anniversary podcast, where myself, Paige Davis, and Matt Marrash hit the road. We did a few weeks ago. We were in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Pro Show. The Film Photography Project was a guest at the Roberts Distributors booth, which was fantastic. Roberts Distributors is part of Roberts Camera, as well as Used Photo Pro. Some great companies, great people. It was a wonderful time. We have some great interviews to share. Kodak, Ilford, Harman Photo, Roberts, as well as a recap at the end where both myself, Paige, and Matt, we give kind of a snapshot of what transpired at the show, what the show was like. So you may be saying, what show?
What show?
Well, stay tuned. Oh, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, the audio will be supplemented by some video footage. Stay tuned. Be right back.
Film Photography
here at the Pro Show over at the Roberts booth with Meredith and Cory Reinker from Roberts. And my first stop is this massive, completely crowded booth full of folks interested in all things film. And I knew I had to talk to some new friendly faces from Roberts that I hadn't met before. So Cory and Meredith, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's very nice to meet you.
So what are your primary roles at Roberts?
So I'm one of the owners of Roberts, so I get to see the whole shebang over retail, our Used Photo Pro division, and then our distribution division, which focuses specifically on analog and how we can keep analog photography alive and get it out to the stores.
Oh, very cool. Okay, and Cory, how about you?
My sole responsibility is Used Photo Pro, so we started that about 13 years ago, and that is 100% of my time is dedicated to growing that division.
Wait, Used Photo Pro's only 13 years old? Okay, so maybe that's literally... I've always ever known Used Photo Pro being a thing. I worked forever ago at Midwest Photo, and it was always nobody ever tried to beat the crazy KEH quotes, but if I heard Roberts was offering something, oh man, I gotta make sure I'm matching that thing.
Absolutely. We started in 2011 at the store, and about 90 days after we started, we had the opportunity to start this used division, which turned into Used Photo Pro. It's been fantastic for us.
Oh, it's great. You guys are easily one of my probably top 3 that I recommend for used gear, and mainly because your stuff is searchable online. So many of these used sites are like, call, submit this cryptic form, and no, I can find the piece of film gear I'm looking for.
We try to make it as easy as possible.
It really is. So how's the Pro Show been going so far? I jetted in a little bit late from Columbus, so catch me up.
No, it's been great. So this is the first time it's been held in Indianapolis, which is one of the reasons. So we are fortunate enough to work with a ton of these analog brands, Film Photography Project, Steele, Kodak, Ilford, Harmon. But to have everybody in the same place at the same time, we thought was a really cool and unique opportunity to get people together and get the community together. So there's so much interest at the retail level. Film drives people into stores. They come back for developing, they come back for print, so it's a growing segment for all of these dealers here.
Yeah, it's the whole ecosystem, right? And so often we're focused on the fun gear part of it, but it really is, if you're a mom and pop photo retailer, you want people coming through those doors asking for different parts in the process and discovering new things, so that's great to hear.
Absolutely. It was a little stressful having everybody from the show attend an event at our store last night, but I think it went really well, and it was great to have people in there.
Yeah, I heard this was like an epic shindig. The one time I missed the Pro Show on time, they throw the biggest party ever.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I actually do need to check out the whole Used Photo Pro operation because it's just veiled in mystery for all I know.
We'll give you the VIP tour.
Awesome. Did Used Photo Pro set up a buy booth like they did?
We are kind of sharing the space with the distribution team right now, but essentially our main goal is for people to understand what we do, and if they've never partnered with us in an event before, to get some questions answered about what that entails, and hopefully make some new partners along the way.
Absolutely. Great. All right, so because this is the FPP, I've got to ask, doesn't have to be FPP, but do you have a favorite film that you've seen here at the show so far?
I mean,
Dracula.
Yeah, getting ready for, the season.
Absolutely.
Dracula, Wolfman, Monster.
Yes.
We love to get people stocked up on those. I will say one cool thing for people to check out is Ilford just launched a retro packaging as well.
Oh, I was seeing that on the shirts. Okay.
Yeah, so we're excited about that, and they're going to start shipping that soon. And you won't know, you'll have to go into stores to be able to find it. You won't be able to request it specifically, so it'll be a little bit of a treasure hunt to try and find, but it's really cool stuff if you get a chance to check it out.
Who knew just a small change on the packaging could do so many things for the film photography world?
Support your local retailers. They work really hard to, make sure they have the newest, latest, and greatest products stocked in their store, especially for the upcoming holiday season. They want to make film very available to people. So visit your local store and see what they have and hopefully be able to support them.
Couldn't have said it better.
Cool. And just, so everybody has those deets and they can get the URL right. Where can folks go to find out more about this fabulous brand?
Roberts Camera. You can visit robertscamera.com or follow us on social at Roberts Camera. Use Photo Pro is at Use Photo Pro, or usephotopro.com is our website.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. It was so great talking to you, Meredith and Cory. And I'm gonna start making my way slowly through this booth because this is easily the most popular one here at the entire show.
Well, thank you so much.
It's
Very
so
nice
good to
meet
have you here. Honored.
We'll see you tonight at the photo talk.
Absolutely. That's why I'm here. Hey folks, Matt Marrash here. We're still very close to the Roberts Distributors booth because we have a lot of heavy hitters. I don't know what to say. There's so many cool things out here. Ilford and Harmon are here. We have Matt Parry from Harman, and we have Hilary Freed, who is our country manager for pretty much the whole North America. And we want to chat about some of the cool things that they've got going on here at the show, talk about how things have been going, and what can you tell our audience about what Ilford and Harmon have going on?
I would say one of the most exciting things right now is we have some retro packaging that we are launching actually right now. You should start seeing it in North America probably mid-October. And it's very cool. People are really engaged in it. They really want to have it in their store to sell because it'll.
So this is not a brand new film per se, but it's just a retro wrapping around. Is it just FP4 and HP5 that I see here?
So
okay.
It's FP4, HP5 in 35mm and 120.
Okay.
And the packaging is basically inspired by the FP3 and HP3 packaging from the 1950s and 60s that we used to have.
Yes.
So limited edition, like Hilary said, it's just going to be phased in. It should be here in the next 2-3 weeks, whatever, and then gradually after a few months we'll revert back to the old packaging. So essentially for film users that are collectors, this is something nice to kind of get your hands on, and exact same product inside, so it's still the HP5, FP4
that we know and love. It's just more grammable.
Yeah, exactly that. So just something that gets people interested, hopefully, and something a bit different.
Of course, we're coming hot off the heels of one of the most cool releases of the past summer, Harman Phoenix in 120. How's that been going?
I mean, it's gone really well. I think people know now about Phoenix, and they kind of have built up an idea of what to expect. I think with 120, as you'd expect from the bigger negative, the kind of the grain is tamed a little bit, the sharpness has increased, you get a lot more detail. And I think people have really kind of embraced Phoenix from the very start, and they know it's experimental, they know it forms part of our longer roadmap of colour film and that bigger project that we've got, and that still with 120 like 35 the sales will get reinvested in to support that roadmap. So yeah, people have really embraced it. We've seen some incredible images, like insanely good images.
I was blown away the first time I looked at some of the samples on the Harman page from it, and just I think as soon as I saw not those results, but even my scans in 35, I was like, this is going to pair so well once it scales up, because it's just that right medium. The grain is really nice and tamed. You get more of that expansive, really vibrant color out of it. It's a match made in heaven, and it's literally new film. This is not something found and repackaged. It is brand new.
It is, and I think with Phoenix, we've learned a lot over the years, well, not years, but since we've been making this, we've improved some of the coatings over the years, over the months, sorry. So we are getting better in terms of how we make it, consistency, performance. But the things that we always try and reiterate with Phoenix is get your exposure right. That will obviously help get you, make sure it's got that fine edge on latitude. If you miss it, you will struggle to recover that. But also how you scan it. So one of the things with the launch of 120 that we've tried to reinforce is that scanning message. So whether you scan it on a Frontier or Noritsu, the kind of the staples of lab scans, it will give you very different results. And when you home scan it, or with a DSLR or a flatbed, again, you will get very different results. Typically better results than you will get from a lab scan, unfortunately. So those might have shot Phoenix and maybe weren't as keen on what they saw, we recommend try that home scanning approach because it brings out a lot more detail than often the lab scans do.
But that means you have to pick up your negatives.
Pick up your negatives, yes, please.
Wait, well, the lab doesn't just keep them and destroy them?
Well, I mean, obviously, we as Ilford make black and white paper. We want people to print. We want people to basically then collect their negatives from labs because we know a lot of them don't, and I think they're missing out on something very special. That key part of the analog process is making that print in the darkroom. So whether it's picking up the negs, rescanning them if they need to, but also having that as that backup, that physical, tangible backup, and being able to make a print, we would always encourage people to collect their film, collect their negatives from labs.
Transitioning over to the world of print, because I still love getting in the darkroom, making prints. Got a lot of customers ordering handmade prints this year. And one thing I've been really excited to see in some of my local photo stores is, of course, you have multigrade classic. That's everywhere. But I'm also starting to see a good selection of the Kentmere black and white papers. I think the release of that in the 120 kind of got it in the back of people's brains that, oh, there's really good stuff. And this is affordable too. We love to see that.
Yeah, I mean the Kentmere, like we've said with the film, it's an Ilford film in all but name really. So performance-wise, it's still very strong. One of the things that we are doing at the moment is making a condensed multigrade type filter kit, variable contrast filter kit under the Kentmere brand. So I think it includes 6 filters. So that will be coming out soon as well.
Very cool. I feel like it's just been a Matt and Matt conversation so far. So I have to chat with Hilary because I was when I was back in the world of retail at Midwest Photo, I was BFFs with Mike because he was just the veteran on the road forever, talking about the glory days of film. But this is my first time meeting and interacting with Hilary here from Ilford. How has it been as a rep for Ilford? And do you have any other insights from the trade show?
Yeah, so to start with your first question, it's been great. I love the company. I was shooting Ilford in college, so it was really fun to, after I graduated, I went on to digital, and it was really fun to come back to film. And I've really embraced it. I put a darkroom in, and I've been printing, and I love all that stuff. As far as the trade show, we've had a lot of great conversations with dealers. We've helped, just giving them the message that by bringing in a large variety of film, they're going to really attract their film community in their towns. Kind of that younger crowd will come in, see their wall of film, and then keep coming back because they want to try all these different films. So we're really trying to portray that message that they should have a full range of film.
Yeah, no one wants to go to a vending machine with just one candy bar, right?
Exactly, yeah. And this, we alone with Ilford have 11 film stocks, and most people don't even know that. They think we have HP5 and FP4, so we want them to try Ortho and SFX and XP2 and all of them. So, yeah.
I almost always forget about XP2 because I'm just the chronic black and white shooter, but then I look at the result, I'm like, what is that film? Oh my gosh, this looks so clean. This is so good. Maybe I need to try this some more.
Yeah, you do.
You do. It's yes, they're all black and white, but they all have differences within them. So the deltas are obviously different to your FP4s, HP5s. XP2 is a C41 film, so again, there's something different there. SFX with a filter, you can get an infrared effect. So Ortho is not red sensitive. So there's all these different things that you can do, different creative effects you can get. And then there's the Kentmere films, which are obviously like more economical, let's say, but still high quality. So yeah, we try and make people aware at these sort of events that there is a full range out there, full range of papers, full range of chemicals, and yeah, sort of take that back to their stores so they can really help people understand that there's choice out there.
Well, cool. Matt, Hilary, thank you so much for taking the time for us, and look forward to hanging out and shooting some more at tonight's photo walk.
Excellent. Good to see you again, Matt.
Yeah, see you tonight.
We're here on the show floor at the Pro Show. I've moved approximately 4.5 feet from where I was because this is such a high concentration of heavy hitters in the film photography world. I also managed to track down, of course, our big host, Mr. Michael Raso.
Hey.
And I'm here with, oh my gosh, probably one of the first people I ever interviewed at a show, Mr. Tim Ryugo from Kodak. Tim, it's so awesome to see you.
Hi, Matt. Great to see you as well.
Oh, I never would have thought I'd miss coming to a trade show floor and see so many familiar faces, but here we are. It's 2024, and it's still going strong and maybe better than ever.
I think so. I think that certainly the film, this renaissance to analog has taken the world probably by surprise for sure. The film business is as vibrant and as successful as ever. I think I'm really proud of the fact that for the last 45 years I've been managing the brand of Kodak Film, selling the paper, chemicals, and film, but just grateful that in the sunset of my career that I'm managing this amazing film business for the U.S. and Canada. Just couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, it's and even in just the past few years since we haven't seen each other, so many new things are out there and happening, and we're like shooting different stuff now, and it's still just on that beautiful celluloid. Can you give us maybe an update on what's new, what's hot here at the show?
Well, certainly when I talk about analog, since I saw you last, we reintroduced T-Max 3200. Mm-hmm. We reintroduced Ektachrome 100 in 35 and 120, and probably last year Gold 120 was our big announcement. So we don't have anything yet to share with you, unfortunately.
Oh, that's all right.
but the thing is that what keeps me young is just this new demographic of young photographers, young creatives that are enjoying photography as in terms of creating their own artwork and just creating a community of analog shooters. I mean, it's been really fascinating for me, exciting for me, as I, to just be a part of that. You young guys keep me young by just allowing me to be a part of your lives.
The folks at home can't see it, but there's a considerable more gray on several parts of my face now, and the beard. So I think if you ask any of the film shooters here on the floor, I am an old man, but I have a little bit of that excitement left. But it's so good to see. I mean, this is like a digital also trade show, but there's people walking around the floor with film cameras. It's so awesome to see.
Yeah, for sure. It is Old Home Week in a way. The pro group here has tremendous amount of camera stores and distributors from around the country. I see, many of these gentlemen and women I've grown up with, and so to see them, and see the excitement in the industry is really, satisfying to see, for sure.
Definitely. And I'm guessing, are we going to have you tonight at the film walk?
Oh, absolutely. I will be there. I will have some Kodak swag if, so just hit me up and introduce yourselves, because I'll have some exciting things to give out, and no doubt about it, I'll be happy to provide some of those highly coveted Kodak promotional items that everybody's certainly interested in grabbing.
For sure. Well, Tim, thanks so much for being here. It's total. I'm always surprised when I see just familiar faces, and still, we're all still smiling, having a great time, talking about the same kind of stuff, but with the new audience. It's great.
You're welcome, Matt. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey folks, Matt Marrash here. We're at the Pro Trade Show. We've now moved an additional 6 feet from our previous location because the Roberts booth is easily the hottest one here, and we're talking with the guy who kind of started it all for getting us at FPP out here to all these really, really cool events. We have Josh from Roberts. Josh, thanks for taking the time for us.
It's always good to see you, Matt. It's been a while, but it's great to have FPP here at the show.
I know. Was it 2019 was the last time we chatted?
I think the last time you and I saw each other was either... Yeah, it would have been 2019 at Photo Plus at the Javits Center, yeah.
Yeah, well, it just seems like instant 5-year time skip for like most of the people we've seen here. It's so cool though to see this. The energy's back. We're seeing all the camera stores freshly excited about this. Can you tell us about for folks that don't know you from previous FPP events, your main position at Roberts and just kind of a little behind the scenes of what's going on here at the show?
Sure. So, Roberts Distributors is kind of purposely usually behind the scenes. Our role is to facilitate getting the cool film brands into the camera stores all over the country. So this show is actually for the camera stores, not the end user, although we've got some fun film meetups happening for end users too. But so my role is kind of to I helped start the distribution, the analog-focused distribution part of Roberts Camera, and I facilitate kind of working with all of our brands, whether it's an Ilford and a Kodak and a Steele, or it's a film photography project. I'm interacting with the vendors, I'm doing the purchasing, and I'm pretty familiar with the movers and shakers of the camera world and making them see what they ought to be bringing in for film so that end users can walk into their camera store and get, FPP 620 color. That's kind of my job.
Yeah, and in the last few years, it seems like there's just been more and more cool offerings. Can you give us some highlights of some new stuff maybe here at the show for us?
Yeah, this year we've seen obviously. FPP, I'll start there because that's who I'm talking to. FPP expanding the color 125 into 620 and 120 is really cool. By the way, awesome film. If you haven't shot it, you should. What we've also, of course, seen in 2024 is the new cameras that are on the scene are helping drive some excitement, whether it's the Pentax 17, which we're a distributor for, or the Rolly 35, which we're not a distributor for, but I think is a really awesome, exciting product. Yeah. Phoenix has been an exciting launch. It's been great to see home developing continue to grow, whether they're, it's people buying cine still chemistry or flick chemistry or FPP chemistry. It's just been kind of this year has been just generally expanding the excitement in a way that's caused your average camera store to want to carry a much broader range than they were before. You've always been able to get somebody to stock your Kodaks, your Portra 400s, and your Ilford HP5s. But what's exciting this year to me at this show is that most dealers want to expand. They want to have a fridge full of film for the shooter that's walking in and wanting to really go beyond what they're used to seeing 4 years ago in a camera store.
Yeah, I remember just before I hit the road here to Indy, it's not too far from Columbus, but I had to stop at Midwest Photo, and I saw what I was like, I had to do a double take because it was Ilford, but it was in a different box.
Yeah, the retro packaging is on the way to most of your retailers. People are getting to see some boxes here, and it's just a really fun way to kind of pay homage to what's happened in the past that is allowing us to continue what we're doing now. I think it's cool that Ilford's doing that. I hope we see more of that sort of thing.
But it's just so great to see, a completely stocked fridge. I'm seeing FPP films. Like it's such a different world from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, unimaginable that there would be variety, and now at a local mom and pop shop, not something that you're just buying online.
Yeah, I think we had a vendor roundtable with all the brands that we distribute a couple days ago before the show began. And one of the neat things to realize at that event is we all saw film decline precipitously in the early 2000s, and there was even questions about what is the long-term viability. The resurgence that's happened in the last 5 or 6 years has caused film to be important and significant enough a mover for your average camera retailer that they really do have to think about their Roberts order. It's not an afterthought. These buyers are wanting to make sure that they have, from a Phoenix, to an FPP IR film, in their fridge, because they know there's the walk-in traffic to justify it. And so, I think that's great news for anybody that cares about film photography. We have kind of, I think, reached a point where the viability is there. No one needs to wonder or worry, is Ilford committed to this long term? Is Kodak committed to this long term? It's just such a healthy spot to be in from what I've heard.
It really is, and you can tell, since this is more of a store show, it's not the crowds and huge lines of your major shows, but there's still a lot of good energy, and I'm sure we're going to see even more of that tonight at the Film Photo Walk.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about what we've been able to pull off this week. The fact that this show happens to be in Indianapolis this year is kind of why Roberts has rolled out the red carpet. For anybody that doesn't know, Roberts started and still is a camera store in downtown Indianapolis. So we've kind of rolled out the red carpet. We've had vendor events. Now we've had events with 150 dealers all over the country. And then tonight we're going to have a film photo meetup where Midwest, or really however far people happen to travel, and users get to meet people from their favorite film brands, along with some retailers that will be straggling around. We expect there to be a couple of hundred people having fun. We've got great raffles, giving away a Pentax 17, and just realizing that there's a brand new $500 film camera out there, and that they're willing to raffle it off for an excited film shooter is a pretty cool place to be now.
It is a cool time to be into it. Josh, thanks so much for taking the time, and we'll see you later tonight.
Thanks a lot, man.
So it's the final day of the Pro Show. I'm here with FPP legend Paige Davis. It's so awesome to finally be back on the road and coming to these events, and who better to do it with than the person doing the heaviest lifting behind the scenes. Thanks, Paige.
Thanks so much, Matt.
So you were here before I got here, and kind of probably going to be after I leave, just doing so much to prep for the show. What were your big takeaways from just experiencing the Pro Trade Show for the first time?
Matt, this was the most tremendous opportunity to get face time with Robert's distribution team, with the other labels, who are represented by Roberts. I mean, Roberts is who is responsible for placing FPP products into brick and mortar stores across the nation. And also to have some really incredible conversations with, some real learning and teaching moments, talking to the brick and mortar store owners, and who are also, understandably the consumers, the photographers and the users of the product too. So what was especially incredible, so a couple things. Number one, the passion for film photography was tangible. I mean, you could feel it in the air, the enthusiasm, the excitement, the interest in new products, new formats being delivered to the market. There seems to be a continued uptick, in what's available, and in, again, the enthusiasm over it. And I think it's a really exciting moment to be involved with still motion picture film photography. It's just incredible.
So you mentioned a lot of brick and mortar stores coming to talk to FPP and the rest of the Roberts booth. Since this primarily is a trade show for those stores, giving them a chance to maybe have their first exposure to all of these different brands, did you feel like at any point, all the film really seemed to be in that one corner at the trade show? Did you ever feel like they're technically FPP's competitor? Did it ever? I didn't ever get that impression, but was there any of that going on?
Yeah, no, and not in the least, and that's such a fantastic question. So, as you had mentioned, Michael and I got in on Tuesday. The Pro Show itself ran from Tuesday through Thursday. However, the labels, the film brands, our big shining moment was, Thursday from early in the morning through about 4 p.m. But Roberts, kept us fully occupied, the entire time we were here with a series of events that were both like incredibly entertaining, impeccably planned and executed, and also really informative. It included, meet and greets and roundtables with the other labels, some of whom I think that you and Michael had met in the past, and some whom, you hadn't, and most of whom I hadn't, and the general feeling was of appreciation for an opportunity to be in the same room with industry players and enthusiasts who all have the same goal, which is to support the film photography industry, to support the consumer, to share what we're hearing, that the consumer wants in the market, and really just to bond and exchange ideas on how we can all improve the ways that we work through this industry.
Yeah, I think for, especially if you've not done the sort of trade show thing or aren't in this, very niche industry, it's easy to look from the outside and say, okay, these are all the different brands, but when in fact we're all after the same goal. We want to get film into the hands of eager shooters that want to try a bunch of different things. It didn't feel at any point like anybody was competing with each other, all offering tips and tricks. We're all usually really excited to see, I think there was multiple times both on the trade show floor and at the film meetup where people saw Tim and they just start cheering Tim, like he's like dance. It was a whole thing. Everybody was really excited to be here. And one thing I've done so many of these photo trade shows. I've done the pro show multiple times. This is probably the only time where I've seen genuine excitement from the smaller shops to pick up film, because now they're not just offering film, now they're imaging, the whole imaging department, the whole process, developing, scanning, printing, the more sustainable older school workflow is actually bringing in new life into the shop, not just pre-ordering the latest thing, picking it up and going about their business.
100%, absolutely. I think there's a growing understanding that by expanding your film assortment or adding your film assortment if you were exclusively digital until recently, and having a variety of products, if possible an entire product line in your store, really helps to create a destination store where, whether you have foot traffic or people are hopping in their car to drive to you, as so many people did to Roberts, not only the vendors who were actually a part of the show, but also the after show events that Roberts organized, which were so fantastic, including a meet and greet at Meredith Brewing Company, where which was advertised to the public as well, and where we saw the most exciting and vibrant mix of industry professionals as well as the end consumers who were there just having a fantastic time. There was an incredible raffle where the vendors, as we were talking about, Cinestill, Kodak, Revolog, Flick Film, the FPP, Harman Ilford, everyone was bringing giveaway products. There was, again, the raffle was incredible, and people were just so appreciative, and it was a fantastic time. Could not have been a better planned event, and kudos to the pro team, and kudos to Roberts, who was the official sponsor for this.
Oh, we're bringing in special guest Mike for his take on the Metazoa Brewing meetup.
Well, no, before we talk about Metazoa,
okay.
Paige mentioned that small camera shops, the whole idea of a destination store. And what I saw on the floor of the show, and I talked to many camera shops, some larger, some smaller, but they all shared the same excitement, and that is that idea of destination store. And why they were so stoked about film is because the concept of having a large assortment of film, them having that customer, but then that customer comes back to the store to bring their film to be developed drops it off. It's like an old-timey kind of like customer comes back in the store, drops off the film, maybe does a little shopping, picks up a strap, picks up a filter, leaves, then comes back when the film is ready to pick up. So it's creating it's creating an environment. It's very much parallel to like vinyl record stores, where it's like a place to go, really a throwback to the turn of the century, the 2000s, where people are getting in their car to go somewhere. And that gives an opportunity for that camera store to, bond. You get to know people who are running the store. You have your favorite person who's like taking care of you. It's community. And I think this type of show is new to me. And Matt, you've seen it before, but you even mentioned that the culture is changing to be more of a community. And that's, to me, amazing.
Yeah, there was definitely a broader sense of that, especially, those of us who have been in the industry for a while, we all know each other, but it's so great to see newer stores, a lot of younger folks coming out and being a part of it. So even in my years doing the pro shows and everything, you're seeing younger owners at camera stores, younger buyers, some of the stores bringing their marketing teams with them, like people that are on the ground and hip to all things film we're here at the show to check things out. Right. And that's something very, very new from years past, where it was just who are the two highest up at the company that want a vacation at the show, and it's people that are actually like not just making decisions, but staying informed on film. It was really, really cool to see.
And then the last day, so the pro show are buyers from camera shops and part of the pro group. But then Roberts had the idea and executed this idea of the last day having a meetup at the Metazoa Brewery, where we've mentioned it on the show, and they've put out social media about anyone that shoots film can show up at this public event at the brewery. Certainly, Beers and Camera has been doing it for some years now, and it's amazingly popular. And so when Beers and Camera or Roberts, whoever puts the word out, like, hey, we're having a film photography meetup at a brewery at this time, on this day, people come from all over.
It packed the place.
Packed. And it was just, I swear to God, I was like ready to cry. Like, I've never seen such, I don't think ever at a public event where like film shooters can just come, have Ilford, Harmon, Kodak, Cinestill, Double Film Revolog, Flick Film, FPP, Used Photo Pro, Roberts Camera in one room. And on top of that, you have like, old camera guy Dave Mahaly coming in, who, we're near and dear to because Dave has come to every FPP event.
He's batting 1,000, and he's the only one besides you.
Yes. Yes. And then, of course, like the icing on the cake, all of a sudden, like, Caleb from Bad Flashes comes swinging in.
Yeah, how'd he get here?
Just like, and crushing everyone with hugs, and then...
And they gave away a Pentax camera, the new 17.
Oh my God. Thanks, Matt. I mean, Pentax was here.
Crazy.
It was a Pentax, like at the brewery, there's a little table set up. And, shout out to Meredith at Roberts, who did an amazing, like, I've never seen this before. Like, it's like, it almost sets the pace of what it should be. The sort of like, slice in time, and the fact that the pro show happened this week allowed this to happen at a public event. So
it was, Mike and I were chatting back and forth at the brewing company about this, where we've been to Beers and Cameras, we've done FPP meetups, we've seen all the different approaches to it, but this was probably the most balanced. Everybody's there, enthusiastic. There's enough direction because there's the giveaways and the film brands are there. So there's people like educating other people about different cameras. They're doing portraits, having a drink. There was people there with their pets. Like, it was like it felt more like the most community focused event, even though some of the biggest players in the game were there. It was really cool to see.
Bring your pet, like people with their dogs. There was a gent with his cat on his shoulder the whole time.
I couldn't imagine that.
And then there was this great raffle giveaway, which is like on top of how awesome it is to begin with, a raffle giveaway. And that's where it's like things got really wild, where it's like, each brand came up to do a raffle. And then, of course, Tim from Kodak had his yellow apron on, and when it was his time.
They wanted him to take it off and raffle it.
Yeah. And when it was time, people were like, Tim. And he did like the Tim Ryugo dance.
He was into it.
Yeah, he was just like dancing on the floor. I mean, into it. It was like just such an outpour of love. It was almost like a religious experience.
One thing that I know Meredith mentioned this because she sees a lot of the behind the scenes at Roberts, but I also got this from one of my buddies from I'm not gonna call him out or what major brand, but from a major camera manufacturer, so someone that does a lot of digital. He was there as well, and the first thing he mentioned is, I didn't know there was this many young people that were into photography. I never see this variety of shooters at my events. How do I make this happen? And I said, easy. Just make it film.
Right. On the actual, you're right. At the actual pro show, were all the digital folks. I think they were blindsided. Like I think they were astonished, and it's not like a joke anymore.
No.
Because film was like, since we started the FPP, the film has been like a joke.
Yeah, we were just the ants crawling around the floor looking for scraps.
Yeah, and I think, once again, the parallel with vinyl records. Like, vinyl records are not a joke anymore. It's like, it's become a business, and it's become something that, companies are serious about. And artists who are releasing music are, like, they're going to release their vinyl record. And film, I feel, is kind of the same way. And it's like, sort of like, us talking to Cinestill on the floor and them being very serious about, we're going to bring different formats, with the Cinestill brand on it. And, they did their 400D 4x5, and I think that's really amazingly exciting. And then, of course, Michael from Revlog was in from,
Vienna.
From Vienna, and it was just so great to talk with him. And, I mean, he's so dedicated to making the special effects film. Everyone, like I said, like years ago, people like, oh, film's a joke. And I mean, FPP as well, which is like, oh, these guys, Dracula film, oh, that's so cute. Yeah. But people are buying it because FPP is behind it with developing what the emulsion is, what the film looks like. Like, we're serious about it, but putting it in a cute package that appeals to just like your average shooter, your student that's in college. Exactly. Your student that's in college who's like picking it up just because it's a monster. And then if they're serious about film and want to look into like what the emulsion is, or how can I best shoot this, or best practice of how to get the best results out of it, FPP has the foundation of like, we've done so many tests with this film. Yeah. And now, of course, expanding out with monsters into 4x5, 120. It's the reception has been so good. And I think is all the other brands, Cinestill and Revlog. It's like they see how they're being embraced, and it gives them the room to expand and put out new, exciting products.
Yeah, this might be the first time that we've done a show where we're not just going and like talking to a brand, see what they're up to, where those other brands, they're coming up to us and they're asking, hey, do you want to work on something? What can we do together? Like, everyone is excited to keep pushing this forward, and that's something that I don't think I've ever seen in all the FPP years.
Yeah, it's about the community and a group and how you fit in that community, and to really keep the film shooter, the person who's shooting your film, in mind, because they're the people that make it happen. I always say this about artists. When I talk about artists, I'm talking about music artists of, classic bands who, are still out doing it. And it's like, the perception of a sellout, or like, you have to really keep humble and keep low to the ground of why you're doing it. And if you are successful, to make sure that success does not go to your head, and you have to keep very base. That's how I see it.
I don't know anything else to add to that. Yeah, it's all thanks to listeners like you who are tuned into FPP for all of these years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's for the belief in guys like, I can't sing the praises enough of like Josh Steele and his team at Roberts of like believing in this, because I mean, you have to understand, like, those folks took the leap of faith from a business perspective to see, and it's all community. Like, for example, I met Josh at a darkroom event.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't meet Josh at, Phil Steebly's darkroom event, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. So it's really a matter of, being out there and meeting people and seeing what opportunities there are. But it's all from a very, it's all from organic origins, and what never changes is our love for, film of what we're doing day to day, of me testing emulsions and getting into different movie film stocks, and Matt jumping on the bandwagon with movie films, and Paige, you were like, it was finally outed that you're the creative artist who was doing the packaging, and some ideas that I have come to fruition because you're able to create Dracula graphic, and it's like all these things come together, and it's like a team, and it's it's rare. It's a rare moment in the industry, and typically industry, because folks, I've talked about it before. My foundation is in the home video industry with VHS and DVD and those kind of labels, and putting your product into stores, and it's like I've been through that, and I saw the beginning, and when things are good, you never think they're going to end. Mm-hmm. And that's what, now that I've experienced it with home video, I think I know how to approach the film photography business from the perspective of, don't get drunk with success. You have to really keep your feet to the ground, because I don't take anything for granted. I don't take it for granted that, although things are good now with Eastman Kodak and Kodak Alaris and Harman and Ilford and the manufacturers, it's like we always have to remember they're working with vintage machines, and can they scale it up? Can they keep the machines going?
There's a bunch of limitations there.
There are still limitations that we can't get too ahead of ourselves of thinking like, oh my God, film forever. No, I mean, although I feel like I will be film forever, it's like if things just crumble in the business, I do think Matt and I would be in a garage like coating some emulsion by hand.
As long as it's not 126.
So
we have a few more years before that catches on.
Yeah, I'm confident, because there's always gonna, like, if everything crumbles, there's always gonna be the guy who built a camera, or the guy who's like, hey, come on over, I figured out a way to coat this piece of plastic with emulsion. It is kind of like what we're doing with 126, like what myself and Owen McCafferty doing 126. Right now it's not scalable. When I say it's not scalable, it's like we can't bring it to a factory and package it and get it out there. It's like right now it's not possible, and I don't think it's going to be possible. And that's okay, because people who want 126 film, they know where to get it. And as long as, I said to Owen, I'm like, I need to insure your fingers. Like, as long as, same thing with some of the 620 films that I still hand roll. It's like, as long as my fingers can work, we could bring this to people. So it's like,
but that's what's part of this too, right? Is it's the enthusiasts, it's the influencers, and it's everyday shooters that are coming together and making the argument that, hey, this is serious. We need to partner with these larger distributors, yep, these manufacturers, and I see them coming closer together now than I've ever seen, which is really, really hopeful for film.
Yeah, and also there's, I'm always amazed. Like I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. Like, you go to a show like this, there's always some people like, oh, never heard of FPP. Or I feel even some of the influences, like Caleb from Bad Flashes. He knew FPP existed. You know him personally, yeah, but it's like he really he's doing his own thing, so he never really had an idea of what FPP actually is. Mm-hmm. And I think as we attend more of these events, and as the film community gets closer together, certainly with the help of guys like Trev Lee from thedarkroom.com. Yeah. Trev is out there organizing these personal meetups, and he's kind of been the glue of because he's great friends with Caleb, but I didn't know Caleb. But when I met Caleb, because he knows Trev, I got a hug. I insisted on it, actually. But it's kind of cool because Caleb's out there out front on YouTube, with it, and it's a fine line of doing it authentically and being sincere about what you're presenting, and not just being like, a YouTube personality with no foundation of what you're doing. And I think, guys like Caleb and certainly his buddy Jason Grainy Days, I mean, they are out there doing the work. I think YouTube viewers are really enjoying that, but they're really sticking to their craft. And I think that's very important. So I think overall it's really great. And, this is on our 15th anniversary. I almost feels like, it's almost like a starting point.
No, I agree, and it's weird. It's like, okay, what's the next thing? Where does it go? Are there more monsters in the tank for FPP? Are there cine formats we need to look at? Like, what's next?
I think Paige said it best. Maybe she could elaborate on it. I think Paige, you're starting to see it all kind of gel to like something constructive.
Absolutely, and I just want to add, because we've all touched on this, but I think we can't say it enough, there is no better scenario in which we can receive feedback from the retailers and the end users of the product than a situation like this, than when the community gets together and we can have these conversations that just happen organically. Because, I mean, sure, we can receive, emails from people and suggestions here and there, but, an organized, superbly organized and beautifully run event such as this, where we are, face to face with people in every aspect of the industry and community, and we're able to hear what their personal experiences are and what they're looking for in the market. You can't beat that.
Yeah, and nothing beats something. So, this was a trade show for the stores themselves, but even at an event like we had at Metazoa Brewing, there you're meeting the person that is picking up the film, shooting it every day. There were also, just another piece of the puzzle, there were people that ran small labs, both here in Indianapolis. There was some from Columbus. There was a guy from Idaho that came all the way out for the show. So there are all these little community pockets, and it now feels like we're closer than ever to seeing that resurgence in small labs, small servicing, community-run initiatives. There was some art collectives that were here in Indianapolis that were all there talking about things, sharing notes on, well, how did you get your darkroom going, or have you looked into this funding source? So like the circle is closer than ever to forming again from where we were, pre-FPP.
Absolutely, no, it's incredible. I can't say anything more, I think, because I'll just start crying. So.
Well, great. Thanks for keying me into this. I feel like I should have known this was happening in my own backyard, but it was great being here for the very short time. Thanks to Roberts, FPP, Kodak, Ilford Harmon, Cinestill, Flickfilm, Revlog, Double. Who did I miss? Thanks to everyone, and thanks to you at home for continuing to listen for 15 long years here at FPP.
And I will say, of course, podcast at filmphotographyproject.com. Send in a letter. If you're a store, if you're a retailer, drop us a line. We need information from you, even if it's just, hey, I met you in Indianapolis, blah, blah, blah. Because we would like to communicate how it's going in your store to the podcast listeners. I think it's very important. So everyone out there, stay in touch. And of course, hey, Matt and I are still working on top of the month movie film podcasts, trying to bring that to you regularly, but you could always rely on us, being here on the 15th of every month. That's it.
All right. We'll catch y'all super soon.
Oh, yeah. See ya.
See ya.
Michael, Alex, Mark, and Leslie, Lauren, Matt, and John Fideli, the crew at the FPP podcast, I'd like to thank you for the gas here acquisition syndrome. Who needs food when there's a freezer full of Kodak here acquisition syndrome. I'm running out of SLR, TLR, manual and automatic. On the bay, I just bid on a speed graphic. 35, 110, APS and 120. I am quickly running out of money.
That's okay, it's super positive.
Lenses, tripod, filters, and flash. Found a flea market Polaroid for $10 cash. Safe flight timer, trays, and a tank. For this obsession, the FPP. I think your acquisition syndrome. Who needs food when there's a freezer full of Kodak? Your acquisition syndrome. I'm running out of space in my home. Your acquisition syndrome. Who needs food when there's a freezer full of Kodak? Your acquisition syndrome. I'm running out of space in my home. I'm running out of space in my home. Thanks to gear acquisition syndrome.
Take three.
I've heard these tales before, when they used to mean so much more. She shows her happy head through it all, a blue thread. It's time to resign. This warm summer sun is losing sustain. Let the winter come. The captain took a walk to forget her laughing green eyes. Her eyes are on the waves, hoping to see his ship someday.
Take three.
Oh my God. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Hello. Wow. Hey everybody. Glad to see everybody here. My name's Tim Ryugo and I manage the film business for the US and Canada. And I've got some film cases here filled with 5 rolls of Kodak film. I've got Portra 160, Portra 400, Pro Image, Ektar, and Gold 200. Here we go. I guess it's time to make some choices. Dig deep. All right, everybody. Does anybody want to leave right now? 3, 4. All right, here we go. 0, 3, 1, 7, 1, 1. All right. I just love looking at the cat's butt.
Hey everybody, my name's Ken. I'm with Pentax. Happy to be here today. Thanks to Roberts for putting this together. Well done. We're giving away the Pentax 17. Thanks for all your interest. All right, here we go. 0, 3, 1, 6, 9, 1. Up in the air.
It's all in the past now.